Hello, 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 everybody. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Patrioting Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everybody doing? Hey ho, waka waka, watch the market flow. How long did you work on that one? It went high and now it's going to super low. Why do you need to trade or invest, waka waka? You could be the next Dr. Seuss. Good morning, Davey. Uh, yeah, J Powell coming up. Testimony in front of Congress. Good morning, Patrick. Yes, inflation rate 7.7. I actually have that. Look at this. I actually had that prepared. I'm bringing in more of the foreign numbers now. We're going to expand our coverage a bit more. So we'll talk about that. Good morning, Wavy. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Options 22. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Jacob. Chris. Crude getting smoked. Just crude, another sell-off in crude. So markets have pulled back. By the way, before we get to that, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting that like button. Longer term subscribers, please keep the comments coming in. We've got to get to 5K subscribers and keep the thumbs up. Give the channel a big hand. Yeah, UK was super, super bad. Good morning. Oh, I'm blurry? Am I blurry, guys? I didn't think it was that bad. Morning. Wishing you a magic day. Thank you, Dr. Michael. Okay, well, we got through that. Yes. Let's see if this camera's blurry. Maybe a little. Maybe a little. I don't want to waste time on this, though. Let's see. Well, we'll deal with it later. Let's see. Let's see where we sit. Oh, yeah, UK. Core inflation came in slightly better, but the inflation rate, that's incredibly high, 9.1. What I'm actually focused on also is look at the PPI input numbers. I know they're labeled low, but UK 2.1 versus 1.9. So that's input prices and PPI output coming in hotter, and that will trickle into inflation coming up. So those numbers were not good. Retail price index year over year up 11.7%. Very bad numbers out of the UK. Canada, we had Waka Waka mentioned it. Year over year inflation 7.7 versus 7.4 expected. Core 6.1 versus 5.9. So, and month over month at 0.8 versus 0.7 previously. So those numbers, I'll just call them Mr. Yuck. Testimony in front of Congress for Powell today and tomorrow. And we also have Evans, Barkin, and Harker speaking. I don't know what else they can say. Already a heat map showing a lot of red in the streets. Blood in the streets, sort of. Actually, what's interesting is this is pulled back slightly to 88.5% for the 75 basis point. We're a long way out from that. Also, still in deep negative gamma territory, so you can get the interesting exaggerated moves. Just wanted to get all that out of the way. By the way, we only have Winnebago was a major thing this morning, but KB home after, so we're going to have to check in that after the close. Tomorrow, it's interesting with FedEx, though. But nothing really market moving today. Earnings season wrapping up. Pullback, again, between that 50 and 62 and a half. 4-hour cycles hitting the bottom, and this is where it still gets interesting, why we still could see toppy and then another rollover play. Daily cycles not yet rolling over, but getting to the top, and where I talked about weekly cycles still not at the bottom. So we have all this mismatch. So we could see, especially with Powell's, some choppy price action, especially today or tomorrow. I will still watch in case we do get those momentum bars. Right now, going to see if it can break back above about 11. That's the NASDAQ. Let's get the S&P first. The S&P, we had that double top, pulling back, hitting all those targets, and then coming back down. Key little area for me is minor that I'm watching is about 37.30. Then we start getting above 37.34. I'll watch for a push back up. But as long as we stay in this, we could be choppy. You know my line, the sand right here. The pullback, 62.5. Right there. You already know longer term. Yeah, I mean that hit it nearly to the tick. So this is where I watch for the little bounce play. We got the little bounce, and now if we come back down here and form a double, that would be another preferred play, but then I'd need to get above this little peak. We're not there yet. And if we break below that 62.5, if we close below there, then I'm favoring the lower prices to return to retest the low area. So the minor level would be 36.82. The clusters aren't really lining up, but then really 36.74 to 36.70 if we break down. I'm expecting a potentially choppier back and forth day. So especially after the rally yesterday. To the downside, you see there's no great clear path here. There's a minor one on the 4-hour, but there are a lot of stopping points. When you see one on the 4-hour, you got to just double check that 1 hour, and you see how you got a lot of little stopping points down here. But that next major level, that 75% harmonic right here, is the key area if we do break below that 62.5. So if we don't have the breakout or breakdown play, I'm just going to prepare for choppy price trading, possibly, with all the cycles being in mismatched patterns. The NASDAQ, not quite down to 62.5. The breakout play on the NASDAQ is above about 11,450, and then I'm just targeting the harmonics going back up. So we have the stopping point about 11,450. That's the breakout play. Minor then is coming in about 11,471. Then you do have a pretty decent clear path on the 1 hour back up. I'd be focusing on about 11,538 and then 11,601 to the downside on a rollover play. Major cluster here, including the 62.5, 11,297 to 11,300. We break below that. And then you have this little minor move back down. So I target the 11,219 area. But with all this going on today, and we see here even on the daily, back to the daily rotation zone and rotating down. And remember, as I talked about yesterday and before, generally when you hit the daily rotation zone, you get at least a reactionary move. So beyond today, I'm watching for both these markets, if we do get the next push up, to take out these highs, and then we target the other side. If we don't get that, it's a retest of the lows, and we see if we get another bottoming pattern going into month end. The Dow coming back, tapping that 62.5. So the breakdown level is, I'm just going right below that. Is coming in about 30,012, but I'm going to be watching that 30K number. We break below that. Got to double check the clear path move here. This is a little more decent, but really the stopping area is right around 29,890 to 29,9. So that's the breakdown play for me, and then it would be a retest of 29,770. Breakout play, let's see if we do get enough, and this is what I'm watching for in the other indices too. This may have, where are we sitting here? No, not quite. So you get back down to this 75% level, you do then have a potential double. So then I will watch for that potential double play on any indice. If we form them at all, then we go into potential double plays on the move back above these peaks. So I can't map that out yet because I'd use the conservative targets, whichever side that is. But that would be my preferred play as long as we hold the 62.5 levels. Let's see. Where do we sit? Yeah, UK PPI is super bad. Crude going down is a very bad sign. It's due to recession fear and game over, and bonds will go up and equities will tank. And we already see, look at the bonds. Remember, we have that double pattern and the bonds strong move. So here was the pattern that triggered. Remember, it triggered, little pullback to the breakout area that triggered the pattern, and first target hit, which is stop reduction. and almost that second target. So I'm still expecting it to hit second and third targets. Second target 117.06, 117.19. Then it goes into reassess on the bonds. Paying close attention though on a closing basis, and this might not hit today. This is already a pretty big move up, but the closing basis on the daily rotation zone is 117.12. So I'm really focused on this next target first. And then bringing in this second target just a bit. And then remember the down move from this high to low, the 50% level, and is very key. Where else do we sit? Russell, weakening. Remember, this was one of the weakest ones. So, and coming down, couldn't hit the first target on that stop reduction. And with the stop reduction, it's over. These doubles are over. Russell's just looking like crap also. Coming back down, if we break below 1659, I'm targeting the lower. We've already closed below the 62.5, so I'm actually targeting the lower prices in that. If it does rally up, my major resistance now is 1686. The DAX, again, big gap off those numbers. The only thing is if we get a gap fill play, but you have pretty significant resistance, about 13,061. If we break down below 12,950, the next level is 12,854. Crude, which is we got the close on the 4 hour below the 62.5, so now that statistically favors, and breaking this longer term trend line with a 1 bar pause. So sell off move, bar pause, breaking down. I'm now watching for easily that return to the $100 mark. We'll see how it reacts there, but then statistically we should hit back to that 97 area. And we're actually still in consolidation. Now, another fascinating thing with this, we do have this massive, this still is in play, this massive potential double top. Nothing's in, I mean, this coming up here and coming just shy of that 87.5 keeps this massive double top in play. So that would be interesting for the potential bigger pullback in crude. So we'll see if that does trigger. What's gold? Not really moving much with all this inflation yet stuff. Dollar index still got that potential long-term double top and just sitting in consolidation. I'm still watching 103.40 and on a closing basis 104.50. Other than that, it's just not much going on with the dollar index right now. VIX moving on up. Again, if this can't fill this gap right here, then it will be choppy to lower prices. If it can fill the gap, it might be choppy to higher prices. That's what I'm watching. By the way, 10 years, Japanese, remember, stepped in. Look at this again. They're going to keep, this is going to keep getting pressed now until they blow the peg. I mean, the amount of their bond purchases are getting asinine. Remember, the double tops off the table. But this, it looks like we might be setting up for a significant divergence move at some point. So I'm keeping very close attention because I think if this does break, it will have a huge ripple effect in the markets. I think this risk event is way underpriced, and it's starting to get pressed every day at this point. Bitcoin, again, first reaction at the rotation zone, so I'm going to be watching the key at C 19,100 to see if that holds. Tesla down slightly pre-market, still triggered that double. I'll be watching for the gap fill today. Key support for me right now. Let me take off these levels real quick so you can see the key levels for support. I'm watching this into the 1 hour rotation zone like I talked about last night. Key support coming in about 687. Break below there, 678. Then we get into there, we'll start targeting the gap fill area. And you can use your gap harmonics off that. So I'm really watching to see if anything comes in for this little quick gap fill play on the open, and then if it rolls over again. Where do we sit? Yeah, there are a few positive catalysts left. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, Ramsafal. Glad you are here. Morning, John. There's your Tesla, Sashi. You still have, since it did trigger this little double, but this doesn't have to play out today. Now remember, on this double, it has not technically hit the level yet, so your stop on at least a closing basis has to be below 656. Okay, keep that in mind. Yeah, we already covered that. We're not going to 2,500 just yet, Coco. Very blurry. I'll work on the cameras. I got. That might be all right. Yours says very blurry. Ramsafal says clear on this end. Now, okay. It just might be a bandwidth issue then. But I will work on rebooting everything this afternoon or some point today. Where else do we sit? I mean, we had. Remember, Apple didn't trigger yesterday on the closing basis, so it's going to get really interesting. Keep an eye on these 62.5 levels for all these mega caps from these little run-ups. Like Apple would be about 105.25. It's exactly 105.25. And I'd be watching that. We got this little, looks like we're going to fill the gap with another gap. I think it's going to be choppier overall. We're just trying to get that rotation up in the NASDAQ. So let's just see here. So that's only the key thing, but these are tough conditions. Is anybody exhausted before the market even opens with these markets going on? That's how I feel. I'm like tired before the trading day even starts. Thanks, Ted. All right, I'm just expecting more of a choppier range-bound day. Going to keep an eye on the VIX to determine if it's choppy up to choppy down unless we get some stronger patterns in here. That's it. Because there are not a lot of great patterns. Remember, Powell's speaking, and it's not just Powell. You know, you got Evans, Barkin, and Harker. I'm exhausted from the Fed. In my Discord, do you do small account challenge? I don't know what small account challenge is. Yeah, trade wisely. If you don't have anything, again, there was a monster move yesterday. We got that. We're getting those reactions to the daily rotation zone. Nothing's triggered the rollover play yet. I've given you the 62.5, so keep watching that. And we could be in that choppy, burning off this quick little move up, and cycles are still mismatched between daily and weekly. So just be safe. We are all fed up. I'm fed up with the Fed. I'm fed up with everything. These are the market conditions that we get to live with for a while. Every time you're tired, I feel understood. So thanks, strategy. Fed Harkers, we should be above 3% by year end. They're going to keep, we're going to have to keep hiking. All right. If there's anything major that comes on, I'll come on at lunch. And like if we start getting major moves to update everything and update levels. If it's just choppy, I'll be on after the close and we'll review everything today. Have a good trading day, everyone. Maybe I'll just need to take a nap. Bye for now.